Do I?
I said, you got to go find that oil leak. Now I got something there.
Well, you know. known Eric for a couple of years. There's a lot of history there. He wasn't always the best at being kind when you were growing up with words. But that's siblings. If any of you had siblings, you know how that goes. But always had a generous heart. You know, he would always come through with an amazing gift when birthdays and Christmas rolled around. And you know, after you spend all year wrestling with each other, giving each other bloody noses, and other interesting things, as you know, brothers will do. He always managed to give gifts way better than I was giving him. So to that end, I always knew he loved me. I always knew he cared a great deal. As we got older, you know, our relationship changed. He took off. He had wings, if you will. He was smitten from the time he was really young. I'll let Dad cover that, with the idea of flying. I think he always wanted to be a fighter pilot. He knew everything there was to know about World War II fighter planes. Those of you that know him probably already know that. And you know, you guys know his ultimate goals and stuff with regard to that, so I won't go into it. We had lots of fun. I also decided one time that I should see if a pellet gun hurt. He had this really thick blue ski jacket. For some reason he had it on one year, late in summer. It wasn't that cold out, but he had it on. And we had the little, you know, daisy pump, one pump, pellet pistol. And I thought, you know, these things you could see the pellets, they don't go that fast. Big flat front on them. I'm thinking, there's no way this could hurt. And so I just thought, well, I was walking away from it. I don't remember what we were doing that day, but I had the pellet pistol out there. And he's walking straight away from me at about 50 yards. And I just picked it up, take careful aim, and pull the trigger. He had a few choice words at that moment, and I found out that it didn't stop the pellet very well. So, but even after that, you know, I curled up in a ball, and he beat me up. That was because I knew I earned it at that point. I was deserving, and that was kind of our relationship. We'd hang out, we'd do lots of fun stuff together. We used to go fishing at Spokane Yacht Club. Eric hated fishing, but he loved to take the dinghy, and so he'd drive me wherever I wanted to go fishing, because all I wanted to do was fish. And we spent quite a bit of time doing that. And gosh, I'm rambling here, but I guess I should look at my list. Anyways, this hit me a bit harder than I think I expected. This is like my second time here since he's lived here. And it gives you an idea of distance, time, space, money, all that stuff comes into play. And so for most of his adult life, he's lived, you know, from Arizona to mostly on the East Coast. So I haven't been able to get out this way. We had young kids pretty early, and traveling with the whole family all the way out here was been tough. So I never did. I just kind of realized I never did get to fly with my brother. Flew a ton with Dad growing up. I never got to fly with Eric. I came out this spring when he was already getting a bit sick, and he wasn't in shape to go flying. But so maybe whoever buys that GP4, I'll get a ride in it.
Yeah, Dad gets a ride in it too. Condition of sale.
I guess the one thing I'll leave. I won't say too much more. But one thing I'll leave is it was an amazing transition that Eric went through in the last few months, at least how I knew him. He would actually give you a hug. Still wasn't a tight hug, but he'd give you a hug. And he would shed a tear. He would let you know he cared in ways more intimate than he ever had. And he also made it very clear that he'd wish that there were some aspects of his life that he'd approached people differently. You know, he really came to value the importance of people, relationships. Not that he didn't already, but to actually let people know that he cared, you know, in more ways. So, you know, on that I'll just say life is there to live. any of us, any day, can go. Don't stop flying because there's more risk to flying. Keep flying. You know, keep doing it. Even if the insurance sometimes is hard to pay. So, you know, love it, cherish it. Keep those that are close to you close, and reach out and make new friends. So, it's cool to see that he touched on it. Makes a big difference. And thank you for coming today, and thank you, Deborah, for putting this together, and everyone who helped put this together. And I'm not crying because that's good. I made it good.
You will see, and I'm gonna have to apologize ahead of time. I might not make it through this, so please accept. You'll see in the slides, I hope, Eric got started very young. You'll see a slide with a baby bottle in an 8A Luscombe. That was when we started flying with Eric. I was flying that Luscombe off from an 800-foot steep ridge behind the trailer house in, 600 feet actually, in Pullman, Washington. You'll also, along the way, see other, hopefully another picture in particular. When he was ready to go to Embry-Riddle, Dad said, well, you really should have an airplane. I don't hear.
It's nothing, Dad. Keep talking.
I said, you really should have an airplane when you go to Embry-Riddle. And so I got to looking around on the net and the ads and whatnot, and I found an 8A tailwind over in Ellensburg, Washington. So I went over and looked at it. Well, okay. Price was right. So I got the Luscombe and brought it home.
Not a Luscombe.
And I said, well, Eric, here's your airplane for Embry-Riddle. He looked at that thing. Immediately dubbed it Rough Bucket. It was a little rough, all right, I'll have to admit. And he decided that, no, he didn't think he wanted to take Rough Bucket across the country to Embry-Riddle. So Dad ended up with it. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun through the years. I had two different PA-2220s. Early on, had an L2 Taylor Craft. So Eric got into the flying game through Dad, you know, right to begin with. And of course he loved it, as you all know. Any of you that have been around him. He came by his meticulousness quite naturally. I'm a retired scientific instrument maker. Fancy name for jack of all trades in the shop. So the boys got to grow up in Dad's shop. Eric asked that his ashes be scattered in the mountains. So he didn't say where, but when he was about 15 or 16, he and his fella and Dad went up into the Three Links Mountains, North Idaho, Sally Bitterroot Wilderness area. We camped on the promontory, rock promontory between the Three Lakes, the upper Three Lakes there. The next morning, Dad was busy making breakfast. I think this guy was still in bed.
No, that's breakfast.
Anyhow, Eric said, you know, Dad, I'm going to climb up to the saddle above the upper lake, and I'll be back in a little while. So, sure enough, up he goes. And when he came back, which was about a half an hour later, it wasn't an easy climb by any means, he was very excited. When he got into the saddle, there must have been a nest of a golden eagle. That big eagle took about 3 passes with Screech at him and took his hat off. So that's where Eric is going to reside. Whether we walk in, depends upon if the old man can get in physical condition to get himself in there. Or maybe with a little tailwind. I don't know which one it'll be, but if anybody flies through that country, waggle your wings, would you? I'm gonna miss him terribly.
I'm not scared of many planes, but I thought, I want no part of that. Because I realized that it took some special skills to fly it. But the backstory to it, that I didn't realize the poor boy had been traumatized. So that was a very difficult landing for him, because he had flown down to get the cassette with Ray Ackerman and Michael Frozen, and flew in formation with them on the way back here. I don't know how he did it, and Ray can share with us, but Ray, somehow in a Mooney, managed, while Eric's flying in formation looking at Ray, he managed to moon Eric. He says, I'm flying in formation. He said, there's some things you just can't ever unsee. His eyes got about that big. That was my first memory. We had a lot of memories together every year, not every year, but a lot of years we went to Oshkosh together. And I want to back up what Glenn had said, because one of the early years, I thought, is this guy really full of it? Because he would say, well, that's a 1946 such and such. Well, I decided to start challenging him. And I said, well, something else was in 1946. Well, how do you know that that's different? Well, in 1947, they changed the air intake to,
3 centimeters.
So that's actually a B model. And he knows his warbirds, and it's not just warbirds. So I decided to play with just certified. Well, that is he said, that's either a 70 or a 71 Navion or something. It was a whatever. He just, every plane I looked at, there was one plane in that week of Oshkosh, kind of was one of the first ones that I would stump him. Eric had a passion. That's one of the things. He had a passion for aviation that showed through. His other thing that everybody knows that we talked about, and we know where he got it from now. I didn't know where he got it from. Was he was a perfectionist. Other stories. I'll tell one story from Oshkosh, and then other stories here locally. But so we camped in the same tent together. So you get to know somebody pretty good. This dude actually folds his dirty clothes. I kid you not. He folds his dirty. He is the neatest. He opens his suitcase and everything is perfect when he gets there, and everything is perfect when he leaves. And it was amazing. The joke. So I'm not a perfectionist, and I was building a plane, and I asked Eric, can you teach me how to paint? And can I hire you to teach me how to paint? And he said on one condition: if it's not perfect, we start from the beginning. That was Eric, but that's what he did. And if you looked at his projects, that's exactly how he worked. He would. It wasn't me. It was like I cannot believe, dude, you're not going to get that thing flying. He had to have it a certain way, perfect. I think go ahead.
Dennis, tell him the good enough story.
Oh yes, so that story for the family is Ed put it in. Ed and I witnessed the good enough story. So the joke between Ed and I is two words that Eric did not know were good enough. He couldn't say that something was good enough. So imagine our surprise. We were in Ed's hangar one day, and I guess Eric was on a walk. This was before he was sick, and he walks in. And I think you were actually working on a project for him.
I was building a new landing gear for the GT4.
And Ed was wondering whether he needed to redo something. And Eric actually said, no, that's good enough. And Ed and I immediately, we just went, we looked at each other and our jaws dropped. And then I think we proceeded to throw a saddle over his back and ride him for the next 10 minutes about using the words good enough. That was Eric. Eric, I mean, he had a passion for aviation, and he was definitely a perfectionist, and those two things stood out as the best descriptors for him. So, right now, I know the pearly gates are getting touched up with 2000 grit, and they will be buffed after that. So, a toast to my friend. Go ahead.
Can I tell a story about Eric? Sure, go ahead. Do you mind? Just one time, this is the only really good experience I had with Eric. But I was out flying the Champ one day, and he was in the cassette. He said, "Don, I'll be passing you on the right." And I expected to see a blizzard go by me, in his cassette. He came up beside me. He was hanging that thing off the props, because the Champ goes all of 90. Well, 82. Okay, so the Champ 82, he was hanging that thing off the prop to fly beside me. So I said, "Eric, let me go down and get the RV." So I landed the Champ, I got the RV, and we went up and flew together, which was just really, now is really special. So I just wanted to say that.
So, a toast to the perfect, passionate Eric that we all know. And I think some of us are getting ready to go fly now.
Yep. So the pilots, I think, are speaking. Yeah. And we're going to do a slideshow while y'all are prepping. So.
Probably because he's got the slowest one. Okay.
Yeah, Mike Bullock.
Yeah, smoke on.
Oh, woo! Nice job.
Those are high wings.
Those are two Champs and one Satopper.
Okay.
The yellow one.
He's the furthest one on the right.
The one with the light on is Mike Moore.
Jim and
Light.
I'm trying to place which one's which.
The first one should be Don Nowakowski.
Patrick's on this
Patrick's
side.
on the yellow one and Mike's on the red.
Okay, Patrick.
Mike has he just turned off.
The copy is blinking west over the airport. Yeah, we'll just need to turn right and we'll be able to catch it when it comes all around.
They started it early.
Wow, that's cool.
warm up.
Nice job.
That's Mike.
This is the time. Oh, don't let me grab
Nice
mess up
job.
now.
Nice job.
Like I said, don't let me mess up now.
No, but I just wanted to sit in.
Here's Harry comes again.
Don, just start a nice gentle left turn, and we'll roll back in on final, and then see good spacing, I'm sure.
Brother gonna come to another
Let me know when I'm clear.
It's a low pass.